Okay guys, I'm back again. Finished my preform down a little bit. Battery's a little low, trying to get a whole point on a camera. Like I said, a little bit new to this. But got a black there and white and yellow and red. And probably going to end up using the black as my tip. And work out a little arrowhead shape here, and then try to make some kind of decisions whether or not I want to go to a little Motley or exactly what I want to do. But so I usually take my time when I'm making a point, and I can already tell when I got the camera on I'm trying my best to rush. So I may shut the camera off eventually. Pressure flaking. Using my knee, issue stick, copper tip, working platforms, and I will thin this point as I get my shape. Not too worried about my final flake pattern yet, or actually really trying to thin that much. I'm more worried about trying to work this thing down into some kind of arrowhead shape here, and then we'll get a lot more serious about issue sticking here, about pressure flaking this thing. Still don't know what I want to make out of this thing yet. Study the rock. It's another old saying from my uncle. He says, study the rock. Every rock's different. It's got its own story. Like I said, this is going to be, I can make a longer stem point if I'm shooting for something that's notched, like a little Motley. I've got to give up some length to get a base wide enough to notch. Like I said, every rock, you just never know what you're going to get, or I don't, until I get to working it. I moved the center line a little bit here. I'm going to get my bopper back out. Take a few flakes off this side and move my center line a little. And I may end up probably shaping the point out a little bit with the bopper. It's going to be a whole lot quicker for the opposite side, especially. This stuff flakes incredibly well. Like I said, this thing just come out of the creek. And I thinned that up. I'm going to come to this side, take off this piece here, and while I'm looking at that, I'm trying to figure out which side looks the worst. That way I can set some platforms up, take care of that. I'm hitting down on the side that I want to take my thickest, that I want to take my flakes off of. And what that's doing, it's kind of beveling this point to one side. And then when I come back, I can use my issue stick to pressure flake me some notches in it. I mean some platforms. And if I strike those platforms, the flakes will fly. And if I don't, something may break. So I've just kind of set those platforms up a little bit. Like I said, I'm thinning this rock down. There's one come off. There's one, hit the wall. And here's another one here. Don't want to exactly drive it all the way across, really. I can do some damage from right there with a issue stick. And I come to this other side and get a little bit more. As you can see, I'm gaining my point. I'll probably do the same thing on that side I did the other side. I've already got my platforms, but I don't have anything isolated. I can work some isolated platforms and follow my ridges, and should drive my flakes a little further. It'll come off a lot easier. It's kind of like a fluting. If you'll set that platform before you get going, your flakes are going to fly a little deeper, a little further. And I'll be right back, sharpen this issue stick. I like keeping a sharp point on that copper nail.